Welcome to the Jennifer J. Hammond Podcast. Jennifer is a licensed realtor, educator, speaker, and best-selling author. Jennifer's goal is to help you find your yay in every day. Jennifer is grateful for the opportunity to educate, empower, and inspire you with powerful conversations, insights, and new viewpoints. Here's your host, Jennifer J. Hammond.
This is Jennifer Hammond, and I'm so excited. As you know, I love real estate investing, and this is one of my favorite topics to talk about because it changed my life. It definitely changed my financial life. And so I'm so excited about our next guest. He's been doing this for 25 plus years, and he really has, and somebody described him as a monster. And I thought, well, I don't know if that's a good thing. It is a very good thing. He is so good at off-market deals and understanding all the different strategies and all the different ways that you can really look at real estate investing. He's really perfected that front end of real estate investment, and he has a 2-day investment blueprint that delivers 30 plus, and I'd say even way more than that, direct response off-market ways to find these deals, and all over the United States. So wherever you're listening from, this applies to you. So my guest is Jason Palliser. He is amazing. So welcome, Jason. Yay!
Hey, how are you? Yeah, it was funny. You, before we even started, we were talking about real estate deals in different markets. So we can't get enough of it.
Oh, I can't, and it changed my life. And I know, and what's on my heart right now is there's so many people with student loan debt all over the United States. The statistics, I don't have them in front of me, but they are the one thing that I have seen over and over is preventing so many people from even being a first-time home buyer because they have student loan debt, whether they're a doctor, a lawyer, a nurse, whatever their thing is. And I guess that's part of why I'm so passionate still about real estate investing, that anybody can do it. So let's start there, Jason. What is your opinion of that? Can anybody do it?
So hello, everyone. And for everybody that's going to hear this, been doing this, like you said, 25 years. I've trained over 25,000 investors from all walks of life. And with certainty, based upon that knowledge, anybody can do it. The big things that people think, as you know, is that, well, as soon as somebody says investing in real estate, most human beings immediately go to, well, I need 20% down, 200 grand, that's 40 grand. And then I need fix up money. And then I got to put it on the market and then talk to a realtor. None of those things need to apply. And anybody can start doing this, and you don't need any capital whatsoever. It really depends on what type of strategy for real estate you do. So, but anybody that hears this, there's nothing stopping you, whether you're in college, whether you're 65 and you're saying, I'm just going to say sayonara to my job, whatever walk of life you're in, you can freaking do this today.
Well, and one of the things, I hold a real estate license. Actually, I hold 3 real estate licenses in Washington, D.C., Virginia, and Maryland. And that's just because we call it the DMV, not the driver's license place, the district, Maryland, and Virginia. And I had a fellow real estate agent recently. She was asking about her son, and her son was like, oh, he really wants to get into wholesaling. And he's in college. And, with this crazy year we've had in 2020, there are so many people that are like, oh, I really need some other income coming in. And now it's really interesting because her son is like, Mom, this is possible. And she, ironically, is, I don't know if it's possible. And so I love the fact that you said that it doesn't matter if you're in college right now. Anybody can do this. It's really just knowing the strategies. And one of the things that you have is that you have all these lead generation strategies. So 30 plus off-market ways, strategies to, and I want to say it's like a treasure hunt. You want to find properties that are not necessarily in the MLS. The MLS is a way, and you can use strategies. I have some cool ones, and I'm sure these, and I haven't heard all 30 of yours, but I know that this is something that is really important. Would you share maybe a little bit about these off-market kind of, I want to call them secret, but I know that word is so overused, secret strategies?
Here, it's pretty straightforward. Most people think, oh, you go to the MLS, realtor.com, whatever, and find properties, right? And but there are tons of people out there that need to sell their house that don't have the ability to fix it up. And in their mind, they're like, well, I can't talk to a realtor because it's not fixed up. They want finished products. There's people behind on taxes. They've had their water shut off. They've lost their job. And so what we do is when we do a 2-day blueprint, most people do the same 5 things. Okay. So they watch YouTube videos. They're interested in real estate. They join a real estate investment Facebook group, whatever. And they get a list of vacants because they listen to a YouTube video. They do the same 5 things. So we show 30 different ways to find properties that realtors don't have their hands on yet, to have homeowners raise their hand and say, yeah, I'd be interested in talking about my property. So we show 30 plus ways that we do that. And most people do the same 5. And that's why, quite frankly, why most people are interested in investing, but a lot of them sit on the sidelines, is because they do the same 5 things and they play in the same 5 sandboxes, and it feels hard to them. It doesn't have to be hard, especially when you can, and I always use the terms, and this is where Monster comes in, I guess, is that I always use terms of, hey, when we get our hands on you, we do things that no one else does, which is 30 plus ways to suffocate your city and find all the good off-market property. So, but yeah, so we have techniques that we've perfected well over 100 markets over an elongated period of time, that says we've tested in this little sandbox, let's just say delinquent property tax, which is one of 30. We've tested probably 100 different variations of how do we get those homeowners that are in a situation to raise their hand and talk to us. What can we do marketing wise to motivate them, right? So imagine us doing it 30 different ways and then dropping that on a city. It's not a fair fight.
It's not a fair fight. And it's fun. I'm amazed by some of the things that you do, because I want to say it is so like during all the struggles we've had with, or I say challenges and struggles that we've had with the year 2020, one of the things that I love is your techniques are, I want to say, recession proof, COVID-19 proof. They're all of those kind of proofs. And the fact that there's so many people that are hurting right now that really would love to have an extra income, or even just an income that they can trust. And I love the fact that all these different ways, most of them have very little outlay. Like even some of the stuff that I think you do, like you can even drive a neighborhood. And that's one of the ones that you talk about. Wow. You can feel safe in your car if you're worried about, whatever, and you can drive neighborhoods, and there are techniques that you can use sitting in your own home. Because I also know that we have veterans that are handicapped that listen to my podcast. And what would you say to those veterans who maybe they're stuck at home and they maybe are playing a few too many video games, but they're looking for a way to get into real estate investing? How would they start?
Yeah. Okay, so again, now we dive into technique, right? So there's 30 plus ways to do it, not just doing a bunch of mailings to people to see if they're interested, right? So somebody that's at home for whatever reason, and you can do this from home with very little to no money whatsoever. One technique that they could do is go into in their local area, right? They go on Facebook, the number 2 website in the world, and they go into the buy, sell, trade groups. What do people do in those groups? They buy, sell, trade. They're looking to do things, trade things, make money, right? And so we've tested out 200 variations of messages. So when we do a 2-day blueprint for somebody, we say, hey, copy this message, go into your 5 or 6 buy, sell, trade groups, paste this message. And it's something to the effect of, hey, folks, I'm looking for a property to buy, something that needs a little bit of work. You don't even have to sweep it out or clean it out. If you or anybody knows anyone that might be interested in receiving a cash offer and close quickly, we will relieve that situation, and we would love to talk to you, right? So everyone that hears this can do that from home, can take that message, copy and paste it, and you get people going, hey, my aunt, she's going into a nursing home, she needs help, and we can't list it with the realtor because she's got 30 years worth of junk in there. And that's where you come in and say, hey, look, I'll help remove it. We'll write a contract. And then, as you said before, for those that are still thinking about, well, can I do this if I don't have capital? In that situation, like you said, wholesaling, right? You write a contract for her aunt that needs to sell and it's not retail ready, right? You write a contract, and I'll just use easy numbers, for 200 grand, and it needs some work, right? And all fixed up, it's worth 350. but it needs 50, 60 grand or more. You write a contract for 300. We teach you at the 2-day blueprint in that same zip code you just wrote the contract. We teach you 9 different ways to find cash buyers to buy your contract from you. So you don't need a loan, paycheck stub, tax returns, W-2s, nothing. You write a contract for 300 or 200, and then you sell the contract for 250. Then they fix it up and keep it. They fix it up and sell it. So literally you wrote a contract and sell that contract. And it starts with, as you just said, you could do that from sitting at home. So you guys and gals that are listening to this now or in the future, you could take that verbiage I just said. You can go in your groups today, in your skivvies, eating some bonbons, and you don't even have to leave the house. Costs you nothing. And then write a contract and sell the contract in that zip code to all the cash buyers that want to buy the contract off of you. Therefore, no money needed. You do not need money. And in my scenario, you just made $50,000. So right. I would say for anybody sitting at home, how many of those do you need to do to have that impact your year and put you a little bit more at ease and go, wow, investing doesn't have to be hard.
And, I think that what you've said is so important. I also want to make sure I highlight so that if you're listening to this, Jason does this 2-day blueprint that is really like drinking from a fire hose. But the coolest part is he'll send you a gazillion emails afterwards with literally, I want to say it's like a paint by numbers, you're giving the scripts, you're doing all that cool stuff. And that's also part of it is realizing that anybody can do it, whether you're a college student or whether you're a veteran that's at home and maybe there's some wounds of war that are giving you some challenge, or just this crazy economy that we're in. And it doesn't matter if it's 21 or 22, it doesn't matter, whatever year. And whenever you listen to this absolute episode, I want you to know that it is possible for you to be a real estate investor. And one of the other things I really admire about you, Jason, and I'd love for you to talk a little bit about this, that I think is such a powerful aspect to real estate investing, the way I want to say that Jason does it, is that you talk about how can you lead with helping others first? Yes. How can you be an asset to somebody before you put your hand out and ask for something, whatever that is? Will you talk about that?
Yeah. So part of the premise of 30 different techniques, 30 different off-market motivated seller types of leads. Okay. All that's predicated and put on the foundation of be the most valuable. No one, including myself, yourself, no one knows when you talk to a homeowner if they're really going to be ready to sell or not. Okay. And that should be irrelevant. If we're attacking the city 30 plus ways and homeowners are raising their hand once we get our hands on you, way better than an experienced investor, those are opportunities and people need help. I've never seen a transaction close where 2 parties don't agree, right? Mm-hmm. And so what you do is we teach you multiple ways that whether they're ready to sell or not, whether you offer 100 grand and they're at 130, or you offer 500 grand and they're at 610, that's irrelevant. Be the most valuable. So we teach techniques on how do we be an example. Hey, look, I'm just happy that you're not using a realtor to save money. And so therefore, I really do appreciate that. So even if we don't come to an agreement, we try and help people. We don't buy every house. So we'll help you market it for free to multiple different real estate websites to help you get what you want. All we ask is that if there's 5 people interested, you can only sell to 1. I'd like to work with the other 4, right? So that's just one thing that we teach on the negotiation side, is where if you're the most valuable, and let's say you put it out there and no one's interested, do you think that they might come down on price then? And since you were the most valuable and the most helpful, then they strike a deal with you and you make money.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that I love is that your negotiation style, again, like in that example, is very much about how can you help that seller? How can you help people? And again, maybe you get to do a deal with them or maybe you don't. And for me, whether I was doing real estate investing or even because I am licensed as a real estate agent, I always want to lead with love. I want to figure out a way, how can I love them a little bit more? And again, I don't get all the deals, but I don't want all the deals. I only have so many hours in the day, for one. But 2, it is really important that, again, I feel like we have to continue to be a community, a world community, and how can we help each other? And sometimes it's just a little bit of lack of knowledge. And I know you have all of these amazing different ways to close a seller, to negotiate and turn the no's into yeses. And I think that that's something that is really powerful, because sometimes people are afraid of a no. So will you talk a little bit about, don't be afraid of no?
Yeah, no is just where you start. As an example, somebody knocked on your door and you thought that if you ever want to sell your house, you're going to sell it for 500 and somebody offered you 450, you go, no. Well, that's just the beginning of the conversation, right? Because then you can dig deeper and say, okay, well, I might pay what you want to pay, but are you going to fix the roof? Are you going to do this? I just need to know so that I make sure that I can serve you well. And I make sure that if we do come to an agreement, that I'm not going to put myself in a pickle, right? And so the no is just the start of the conversation. So we have 10 different ways that we turn a seller no into a yes. And part of that has to do with, let's say that they want here and you're here. Well, when we teach on day 2 of the blueprint, what we call deal structure, there's different ways to do a deal. If it's just they're here and you're offering cash, okay, well then you might be at an impasse, right? But if you say, hey, could you owner finance this house to me? Which means I don't have to go get a bank loan, which means I don't have to spend a few grand in appraisals, application fees, all this stuff, because that bridges the gap and makes our number better. And they might give you an amazing interest rate because they just simply want a higher number in their head. Then you strike a deal that other people can't. So we teach how to do that. And when those opportunities arise, as you know, once you're on our 2-day blueprint team, you're on our team permanently. So now all of a sudden, when you have a homeowner that says, yeah, I'd like to do that, all you got to do is Jason, Jess, team, and we'll structure those deals for you. And now you've closed on a property. You didn't even need a loan or money again. Here's yet again, no money. And it's a deal that other investors couldn't see. And it's a good deal for you and it's a good deal for them. So we teach several different ways to become a solution for a homeowner that is well beyond just the normal, what people walk around in everyday life think. And what that does is that helps you close multiple deals a month. And then, as you said, be free and recession proof yourself, economy, COVID proof yourself, all that, if there's such a thing. And it's just a win-win all around.
Yeah. And I think that thing is really powerful is that, that you are there to help people. So I want to make sure before we run out of time that you tell people about 2-Day Blueprint. So it's the number 2dayblueprint.com if they want to find out more about coming. And I know you also do it because I've attended virtually. So no matter what, if you're afraid to travel still and you don't want to go somewhere, it's amazing. Jason has really gone out of his way to make sure that no matter where you are, you can actually be part of the 2-Day Blueprint. So will you tell people a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So if you want more information about what we do so that you don't have to sit on the sidelines anymore and you can do it without capital, just go to the number 2dayblueprint.com. So 2dayblueprint.com, and you'll see some information there. You can schedule a call with me and someone on our team, and we're happy to talk to you. And what we do is we ask you what you're trying to get accomplished, where you're at, what you want to do. And then from there, we springboard the conversation and say, hey, here's what we can do and put in place for you. And like you said earlier, paint by numbers. When we're done, this isn't an exercise in note taking. We have it built in a map that literally you wake up in the morning, drink your coffee, follow the map. It says, do this 18 times, copy and paste, do this 25 times. It'll take you 4 minutes. And all of a sudden, you've had a highly productive day, and it only takes you an hour or two. As you know, this doesn't take all day to do. 18 of the 30 techniques to uncover homeowners winning this game are free. So you can do this without a budget. And it's just simply, people need your help, and you just need to have the sharpest and best ways to be in front of them. You get to win with a homeowner, helping them and win all the way to the bank as well.
And I think it's really amazing because I know that you have trained over 25,000 investors, real estate investors, which I know you've worked with people from all walks of life. And
Yep.
since you have over 25 years experience doing this, you've also done, multifamily down to single families, all these different kinds of property as well. And I just want anyone, if you're at all curious, I highly recommend the 2-Day Blueprint. So go to the number 2dayblueprint.com. And Jason, thank you so much for all that you do to bring blessings to communities as well as to sellers. And thank you for teaching real estate investors. We need more of them. They make our neighborhoods better.
Sounds good. Appreciate it. Ready to help anybody that wants it.
Thank you, Jason. And as I say every single time, find a way to make someone else smile. I am Jennifer Hammond.
See you, folks.
Hi, I'm Jack Canfield. You may know me as the co-author of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. And if you want more help in getting from where you are to where you want to be, I want to encourage you to listen to the Jennifer Hammond Show